Welcome to Equanicity Resources Training. We have 3 particular platforms designed to help you get from where you are today to where you would like to be in the future. One of those platforms is designed specifically to help individuals make a transformation, increase new skill sets, awareness, and capabilities. Another platform is designed for groups of people. This could be a particular management team or a group that has commonality in terms of seeking specific results. The third platform is for entire organizations. For many decades, people who desire greater success, fulfillment, and effectiveness in their lives and/or their businesses have sought out the experts at Equanicity Resources. Whether you're looking for a new perspective or whether you're looking for a different methodology for achieving success in the future, Equanicity has experts who have meaningful experience and capabilities that are immediately available to you. Training really is about improving one's perspective, one's skill sets, one's accountability, one's behaviors, and the way in which one operates or functions within the world. How do you see yourself? How do you see your role? And how do you see the roles of the people around you? And what you're specifically going to do about it are all key elements of training.
Hello everyone, my name is Jim Blakemore. I'm founder of Equanicity Resources, and we're sitting here today with my partner and co-founder of Equanicity Resources, Bruce Raymond Wright. Bruce is the renowned author of The Right Exit Strategy. For starters, why don't you talk a little bit about what training is?
Thank you, Jim. I think that for most people, training most of the time seems to be a waste of time, a waste of money. How many times have we attended training programs for many hours or even days on end and come back and said, well, I really only got 1 or 2 key things out of this training program that I'm actually going to be able to use. So this is about training that works. When I think about the training programs that tend to not stick with you or produce meaningful results, I find that they tend to be half-brained programs, meaning that they are either left brain dominant, mathematical, analytical, scientific, financial in nature, and these are the kinds of details that, of course, left brain dominant people are inclined to find to be valuable. The challenge, however, is connecting that information in a real human way so that it becomes meaningful and actionable. So, if a left brain dominant person attends a right brain dominant conference, they're likely to encounter a lot of touchy-feely, emotional, feel-good, motivational, inspirational type of content, which is probably going to seem to be a bit uncomfortable, and even if they feel comfortable with the content, they don't really know what to do with it. So one of the challenges at right brain dominant conferences seems to be a lack of meaningful, implementable details that will produce results. The right brain dominant person goes to the left brain dominant conference and attends classes which are very analytical, very left brain, very scientific, very mathematical, and they feel uncomfortable. They feel like they're not really learning anything that feels right for them or seems to fit them. So in a whole-brained environment, a human being can learn much more information because it's not just about the information itself, it's also about how you connect with it, how you feel about it. And I think that's one of the primary differences in the Equanicity model is the whole-brained approach, the truly holistic, big picture way of looking at things and then breaking it down into key details, including these points of emotional connection, and these are the types of points that cause training to stick not only with the person being trained, but also for the information to be transferable and usable by the end user in the consumer marketplace.
It's been said that typically decisions are made in the right hemisphere of the brain.
Well, I think it's an excellent point. I do believe that for many, many years now, the traditional training models have revolved around left brain dominant information, particularly in areas of finance, banking, real estate, investments, these types of markets. or areas of professional endeavor, very left brain oriented. The challenge is, how do you get a client or a consumer to feel connected to that information so that they will actually take the step of implementing your recommendations? So I think that every day worldwide, literally hundreds of thousands of meetings take place where you have a client, or let's say a couple, they're sitting in a conference room, there's a lawyer, there's an accountant, there's a financial advisor, and they make this presentation about what the couple should be doing and why they should be doing it. And when the meeting is over, let's say an hour or so later, the clients leave and the lawyer looks over at the financial advisor and says, "You know, Sally, that was a terrific presentation. And I really loved the way you explained income with respect to decedent." And Sally says, "Well, you know, George, that was a great presentation you did on the intentionally defective trust and how that applies to the clients." The accountant says, "You know, you guys were absolutely brilliant in that meeting. I'd like to invite you to come to the next AI CPA conference and do speeches so that you could help educate the other CPAs and the other members of the organization." So they sit around congratulating one another, talking about what a great presentation they did, disconnected from the reality that the clients left the room and didn't implement anything, disconnected from the reality that the clients left the room and as they were walking down the hallway said amongst themselves, "Did you understand anything those guys were talking about, and how does it really matter to us?" So if you are left brain dominant, you're probably going to be inclined to focus on the numbers, focus on the math. But the reality, as you pointed out, is that all of the decisions that human beings make, either to take action or not to take action, occur in the right hemisphere of the brain. What we do is we feel it emotionally and we either take action or we don't. But then we need to justify, some of us anyway, tend to want to justify those decisions with the left brain analytical details and content that we've just been researching or has just been presented to us.
You and I had a little discussion earlier about the difference between training and coaching and consulting. Why don't you talk a little bit about specifics of training, how it'll be implemented, and who an ideal client would be for our training program?
Well, I think those who are pursuing training are looking for new skill sets. They may be looking for a new way of looking at the world and the people in the world around them. So it doesn't necessarily just have to relate to physical skill sets or business skill sets, but it's also about the way in which you look at yourself, your role in the world, and other people around you. So training really is about gaining new perspectives, new capabilities, and new skills. Sometimes it is about learning entirely new skill sets so that you can take your career in an entirely different direction. So it depends what kind of training you're looking for. So I think you just have to go through the menu of training programs that Equanicity provides and see which of those training programs are most interesting to you and that resonate with you in terms of where you want to be next in your career or in your relationships with the people around you, whether they're personal relationships, business relationships, or even spiritual relationships. When you're already successful, one of the greatest questions to be consistently asking yourself is, how do we sustain this level of success? And how do we take this success to a new and better level? Organizations and individuals that ask these questions of themselves are the ones most likely to thrive during any type of economic condition or any type of political upheaval. We live in a constantly changing world, so if we continue to do the same things that we've always done, and we behave the same way, and we think the same way as we always have, we're simply going to get left behind by the new ideas, the new skill sets, the new behaviors, and the new markets that open themselves up and become available. Without constant vigilance, looking for change and looking how to capitalize on change, you get run over by it. And it is far better to ride the crest of the wave of change and to be at the forefront of change, enjoying the benefits of change, using change to your advantage, using change as an opportunity to create or to recreate yourself and to create new markets and new opportunities, as opposed to the people who are struggling and fighting against change and therefore constantly living in a state of catching up, always trying to catch up to the competition, always trying to figure out how they got left behind. So a lot of this has to do with perspective, and once you have a better perspective about change, then you can design training programs and training modules which will help you take advantage of change and use it as your ally. At Equanicity Resources, this is one of our key areas of specialization, the vision process of what you think is about to happen next and what you can do to utilize change to your advantage.